I'm the only white face in this area. You don't belong here. Stop, I'll shoot you in the back.
Yo, what's up, guys? Here we are, another edition of Locked Up with Copville, and I have my second guest that is in my intro. Everybody knows him from Georgia State Patrol. He now works at Sandy Springs Police Department in Georgia, formerly Corporal Jordan Ennis, now Officer Jordan Ennis. Thanks for coming, man. What's going on, guys? Mike from Copville here with a product that I use, No Can Smelling Salts. Now, when I didn't use it was before this episode, when I called Trooper Ennis. Should have hit it, would have woke me up. This is for 3 a.m. when that Ultima's creeping by, you're drowsy, you're not sure you can be able to stay awake, hit it, everybody goes to jail. This is for 3 p.m. in the gym when your gym crush is watching, you want that weight to go up, hit it, clang and banging, weight goes up, everybody's happy. NoCanSmellingSalts.com. Use code CC10, Counterculture10, 10% off. And remember, in this episode, all those State Boys videos, that's the original. County Boys is a knockoff. State Boys, A1 since day one.
What's up, guys?
You're a legend. You won't say it. You're a very humble guy. We've been talking, but when it comes to like the cop world, as you look at that intro, there's some pretty squared away dudes on that page, some old school. You're more of a new school guy that has, I guess, garnered more following because of social media. You end up in all these wild chases and pits and do really cool things. And I think as a cop, you know, guys are like, oh, I play cops and robbers, or I fucking play drug dealer and this and that. You're like a fucking NASCAR driver that gets to fucking enforce the law. What, tell us about who you are and how you ended up there as like the NASCAR pitting guy of law enforcement.
All right. So I started in 2008. I'm from Pennsylvania originally. I started in little teeny tiny town. Nothing ever happened. Nowhere. PA. Worked there for a couple of years, and then I wanted to. Always the trooper thing was always real appealing to me. So I had no ties. So wasn't married, no wife, no kids, and I hated the cold. So I applied to Arkansas State Police, Mississippi Highway Patrol, Georgia, and I think South Carolina, like all at the same time because I was going to move. And I just hit it right, and I went through GSP's process like super fast. I think I went through like the whole thing in like 2 months. So I started with State Patrol in 2012. I went down and hit the road. I started as a post trooper just outside of Atlanta, and I was on the road for maybe 8 or 9 months. And I got on with our interdiction unit, and I was a canine handler for a long time. That was actually like the biggest meat of my time as a trooper was doing that. And that was like
that was like pre-YouTube, I guess. I don't see a lot of videos of you with the dog, so that must have been like before it got popular.
That was back in the day. There was some really wild shit. Like if I had a bunch of those videos, that'd be cool. But that's where it kind of kicked off, man. Like I came out and I've always policed like very, very aggressively. That was always like that was my thing. Like, you know, catch bad guys. That was always what I wanted to do. And that was it. I just came out. Hit the ground running, just lock up as many bad guys as I could, and then just, I guess, got good. I mean, I did it so much that just, you know, kind of on the job training. Yeah. And then everything I did, so especially a lot of times, that's where I really started getting in chases, was doing our interdiction unit, drug dealers, like stopping guys with like 100 kilos and everybody ran. So, I mean, that's where I really started doing the chase thing. And I just had a thing where I just got into just a shitload of chases, man. And
you sure did.
And then it just got through that, and then I did that for a long time, and then fast forward for a while, and then ended up getting promoted, and they started the crime suppression unit. So I did that, and that was in Atlanta. So we were just letting it bang. We were getting in the hundreds of chases. So that was kind of just how it turned into it. Like I always wanted it. I hunted it. That was my thing. That's what I always wanted to do. And then I was just there. Mads went and looked for it, got real good at it, and that's just where it was at. So
that's interesting because I never dreamed of being a cop. I never thought about it. I went in the military, came out, and then I kind of fell into it. But I immediately took that same mindset. So for you, it was you became a cop, small town. You wanted action. You wanted crime. You wanted to put bad guys in jail. That was your motivation behind becoming a cop, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like I just never wanted to, just exist at some. I just I wanted to go hard, man. Like that was
Yeah.
just I wanted to find really horrible, terrible people and shove them in a deep dark hole. That's just what I
Yeah.
wanted to do.
And
That's
and
how I wanted to do it.
that's my problem with the current. I'm sure you have the same issues. We've talked. We kind of go right down the line with everything we think. That's my problem with the current recruiting scheme and the way they're getting cops into this job is what you do and what you were doing and what you still do. That's what law enforcement is. It's not. There are places for the dog and pony show, and the community fairs and the school read. There are, but at the core of law enforcement, I've always wholeheartedly believed. I had this little saying: rid the community of drugs and evil. It sounds stupid, but to me, drugs and evil go together, and all the crimes kind of intertwine. And our job as police, at the very core, is to stop the evil people from existing and put them away, like you said, in the dark hole. And that's the mindset I think cops should have going into this. Not I'm going to dance around, I'm going to do this. And how do you feel about all that garbage you see with like TikTok and these recruiting schemes they're pulling to make the job seem like it's fun?
The problem is that they're selling it to the wrong. Like this job, this job's terrible. This is the best worst. This is the best worst job in the world, and it is going to change you and haunt you and hurt you and add piles of trauma. And I fucking love this shit, but it's rough, man. And like you're selling as we're going to dance and do whatever and do this and do that, and that's part of it. I understand that there's a difference between humanizing the badge and embarrassing the profession. I've said that a million times. And like, if you like, there is evil. There's truly awful things, and there's awful people that we have to deal with. And if you recruit people who don't understand what they're getting themselves into, one, you're not going to turn out a good product where they're going to be able to handle terrible shit. And two, they're not going to have any longevity because they're going to come out and then they're going to, close their eyes and like see a dead baby that they saw the other day. Like, well, this is what I signed up for, and then they get out of it, which is understandable because who really wants to deal with that?
Yeah.
But they don't sell it as being what it actually is, and it is fun, and I love it. And there's great times, and there's great people, but a lot of it's not awesome.
Yeah, and to think that there's people that imagine. So you did that every day. So your level of policing, I'm sure every time you turn the lights on, you were like, this car's going to run, it's going to be a pursuit. You were prepared for that. But you take a guy who's never been involved in that, and then that once in every 10 years situation arises in their little town or city, and they've been dancing around their car and not training. They are so under prepared for one of those critical incidents that it's scary. I mean, and now we're seeing it on YouTube every day. Somebody's shooting somebody, or they're getting shot, or they're getting run over because they're not looking at this profession like these people want to fucking kill you. Like, I'm sure.
And on the back end, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying like on the back end of it. So even if you have a lot of guys who really are squared away and they want to do the job really, really, really good, they're getting kicked in the face with all this, don't chase and don't do this and don't do that. Even though they have the motivation, skill set, and ability to do it, they're so knocked down with being able to actually do it. But a lot of times it's going to break out. Like it's one day you're going to need something horrible is going to happen, and you're going to need to do it. Like you're even going to be you don't care how restrictive your policies are or whatever. At some point, something's going to happen where you're going to need to go full tilt against something, and you're going to have the hesitation of you're scared because you're how you're going to be treated. You're scared because you don't have the skills because you've been told no all the time. And then when it comes time to perform and protect the people that you're there to protect, you can't.
And that's one of my huge problems with these small agencies or even large agency non-pursuit. We don't do anything because the day the ungodly one, somebody kills a baby, somebody kills their entire family, somebody does something outrageous that's going to be a traumatic incident on the news, just everybody around it's going to be miserable. And now you have to go after this guy, and you've never driven your police car over 70 miles an hour. You've never cleared an intersection at 30 miles an hour. You've never pitted anybody. You've never been involved in a bailout foot pursuit dude with a gun that wants to kill you. Yeah. And now when the Super Bowl comes to your town and that's the day that it's time to perform, you have no skills or no repetitions to even do it. I mean, you have nothing to reach for.
Yeah. And a lot of the way I look at it now is like a lot of the way the administration is, it's a solution looking for a problem. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's not that they're like, oh, they play the what if game, and the what if game's a slippery slope, man. Like it's just, I understand that you have to have things in place to protect your people and protect the people and protect your agency. I got that. but you can go so far in the wrong direction of being afraid of what could possibly happen that you hurt yourself more than anything. And like the back end of it is like the more, and like you fall back to your level of training. I don't care what motivation you have or how bad you want it. If you've never done it, you're only going to be as good as the skills you have. And if you do it all the time and you operate at a very, very high level, then the very next time it's just another thing. I mean, is that like a lot of people like clutch their pearls, like watching the shit that I do, and like it's not even me, like me and my guys would get into. But we were the absolute very, very best at what we did. We've rarely ever had incidents. I mean, we were trying to figure out, I've been in somewhere around probably 700 chases, and I've only had one time where someone got hurt, innocent person got hurt. And I mean, I remember it because there's only been one, because that's always why I went so hard, man. Because I mean, it cracks off and I'm on you. I'm going to fuck your shit up as fast as I can, because I'm not the chasing person. I'm the chase ending person. Yes. Like, I want you. And as soon as it kicks off, I'm going to eat you. As soon as you mess up, I'm on you. And that's how it goes. And that's why we had such a lot of success, because we were ultra aggressive when we did it. And we were just so good at it that very rarely, it did happen, and horrible things do happen, but the percentage of what we did versus the back end of innocent people getting injured was very, very low, because we took it very serious when we did it.
And that's how it should be. And the argument is, oh, well, it's just a burglary. It's just that those are fucking criminals. And if you let that criminal go every single time, and they know they can hit the gas, and it happens in all these small towns, they can hit the gas, they can go break in your car, they can steal all your shit. And then the cops get behind them. They take off at 80 miles an hour. Oh, they're not going to chase us. That gives criminals a pass. And it sounds very small, but on the surface, when you start to add months and months of these people getting away with this, and it becomes a fucking problem. And I look at people like, if that was, it's my car that gets stolen. Oh, it's just a stolen car. It's my fucking car, dude. Like, that's a traumatic incident for a victim. Go fucking get the guy. Don't tell him, well, sorry, due to our pursuit policy, it was 3 a.m. There wasn't another car on the road, but they were going 80. We broke it off. No, go catch that motherfucker and put him in jail. Like, that's how you tell the citizens and show the citizens that you care about them. Not, we'll let them go, we'll get them next time. And there always is a let them go, get them next time. It's not an infinite chase forever. But to set a precedent in a community that everybody, including the criminals, knows that if you just hit the gas, you're gone. That's a I don't want to say it's a pussy fucking mentality.
I forget what it was that I want to say maybe the colonel. I don't know his rank, but like the colonel of the high patrol thing I was watching, he said every time you turn the lights off, the cancer grows. I think he had said something like that, and that's true. Like, there was, because I've worked in Atlanta essentially my entire career. And, the big city politics of policing is whatever it is, but like, it just, especially when it came to car chases, like if we would get behind it, and like, that's why I always liked having like the blue and gray. Like, even if we had like the ghost cars and shit like that, like I always wanted the blue and gray, because I wanted you to know who was behind you. Like, I wanted you to have that pressure, and know that like there's a shark back here. And as soon as you do something wrong, your mind, it's how it goes. Yeah. And like, there has been so many times that like, APD would be whatever with somebody, and they would they would just drive away from APD. Like, we've had guys that just drive the speed limit, just driving away, and then I'll get behind them and they go, whoop, they pull over and stop immediately, because they're like, I don't want any of that shit. They know what time it is when we get behind you, and they wanted none of that.
And that's policing. That is to me, the American way of policing. We didn't lay down the countries in World War II and World War I and all these places. We went and we took care of business. And why do we come back to our own country and lay down to criminals and go, oh, we don't want to chase them. We don't. Yeah, can people get hurt, injured or hurt? But like you said, and all those chases, all that wild shit everybody watches on YouTube, you had one incident that you can think of where it really went, if the bad guy gets killed, I'd give a fuck. If you get, they roll over and they die, that's, you shouldn't have ran. But innocent people, but I think by leaving criminals on the street to continue to commit crime is far more a bigger problem than chasing them for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, wrecking them and getting them off the street. And now
that was why we had such a really good success, because there were so many APD, like the guys that I work with were the absolute best, man. There were so many studs that work at APD, and they're intel guys, and they're they just had this network of just intel gathering, and everybody knew everybody, and they were just the absolute best. But like a lot of times, it was all gangbangers and stolen cars, and that was what it was. So that was where the hangup was. They had identified everybody. They knew where everybody was. I mean, it wasn't hard. As soon as we, even though Atlanta's big, like it was small groups of people that were causing a lot of the crime, man. So like as soon as you had when they kicked us loose, man, and we went out. And like I'd worked with APD guys forever, so like we're here to solve your problems. They gave us the targets. And then you put 6 just like, when you got a hard nut to crack, you call the boys to break shit. And we would go down and we would just solve problems, man. I remember there was years ago when we started, one of the big things was like Range Rovers, man. Like Range Rovers are getting stolen like multiple times a day, every single day. And it was the same group of these same like 5 dudes that were doing it. Well, our APD guys put us on them. We go out there and we just took them apart piece by piece. And like in 2 days, we put everybody in jail, and the theft stopped overnight. So it was like we shut the whole shit down overnight. So it was great. Once we started working, like once we were able to work together, man, it worked out so good.
And think about that's Atlanta. What?
Yeah,
5, 6, 7 million people running around Atlanta, whatever it is, and then you're able to infiltrate and find out and eliminate 5 guys. Now imagine if it's a 30,000 person town or 100,000 person town.
Yeah.
You should be able to eliminate your criminal element pretty quickly if you're taking aggressive action against them. If you can do it in Atlanta, you can do it in a small town very easily.
I mean, they're all and all the guys, all the intel guys, all the gang guys. They knew everybody by first. You could show them a grainy ass picture like taken with a potato, and they're like, oh, I know exactly who that guy is, right? And then so we would go out, and they're tied into all their Instagrams because everyone on Instagram. Yeah. We would go out, and the block would go quiet. I mean, like we would go out and we would just wolf pack an area, and the block would go silent. Like there was days where there'd be like no shootings in Atlanta, like not even no murders, like no shootings in Atlanta at all, because we went out and they knew what time it was, man. It's just how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's police work. And that's the mentality that we need to combat crime. This whole like be easy, be nice, like fuck that, man. You got to have hard charging dudes go out and eliminate evil from the community. And that's what you guys are doing. So you ended up going switching agencies after it was that incident, right? The big one, the hood slide incident that kind of sent you out of GSP.
No, I was, to be honest, I was over GSP for a very, very long time.
Okay.
So what I did and so I'll be honest with you, I was a terrible GSP trooper. Like I never wore my hat, I never wrote tickets, I wore boots instead of shoes. Like I never wore my tie. Like it wasn't my thing. Like so. I didn't care about seatbelts and cell phones and, writing speeding tickets and shit. I didn't care any about that. I didn't care about travel days. I wanted to hunt horrible, terrible people. And they gave me the ability to do that. And it just, but what GSP is and what GSP isn't didn't really align with the way that I really want to work. And it just really kind of came to a head, and I was really over it by the time that I was done. And the problem with it was, man, like I said, man, I love this shit. And like it made me hate it. And I always said that if I hated it 2 days in a row, I'd leave. And I went well past that, where I was just miserable and didn't want to be there anymore. And luckily for me, like there was be able to like transition to where I work at now. And it's just, man, it was the 2 best decisions I ever made was joining GSP and leaving GSP.
You told me that when I think it was the first conversation we ever had. I think you told me that after we finally connected, it was about 6-8 months ago. You said the 2 best days were when you joined and when. So so they're still, even though everybody sees all the wild and crazy, they were still on you about the hat and the tie and all that garbage.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and then the agency as a whole. I don't have a very high opinion of working at the State Patrol. Not the State Patrol itself, but working there, I don't have a very high opinion of it. And if you had caught me back when I left, I would tell you who's an idiot, what members of the command staff are stupid, but I don't. Whatever they are, it is what it is. It was like a breakup with a really bad ex. That's how it is. But it was, like I said, just the way I did it. Like if I heard, one more time, more seatbelt tickets, less murderers. Like it was just.
What the fuck, man?
And it's just the way the State Patrol works. I mean, State Patrol has their function. And like that's just the way they go. And you can do all the things that I do, but it won't get you anywhere. It caused me more problems. It caused me more problems over the course of my career than it helped me out, really. It was. So I could do it, and I never got in trouble. Like I've never had any use of force complaints. I've never had any problems. Issues. I've had some standoffs with some shit supervisors just because I know how to do my job, and I'm not going to say, "Here, yes, sir, no, sir," bullshit. Now, if you're wrong, you're wrong. It is what it is. But for the huge majority of my career, I never had any. It took a very specific type of supervisor to like deal with me, but like they never. You had to trust me was the biggest thing. You had to trust that even though I was doing cowboy shit, everything was going to be okay. But it never got me any favors. They would let me do it because I would produce, but they didn't like that I did it. They would have preferred probably, just stop my 5 cars a day, lock up a drunk a month, work my crashes, and go about my thing. But again, like I'm me, not them. And I wanted to do it, and I got more out of doing it the way I did because I was doing things that mattered, and I didn't.
And that's crazy.
That was what
if you asked anybody, we would, on the outside looking in, we would all think the opposite. We would think, and I get, that's where I come from. Like, good cops being in command and being like, if I looked at you, I mean, I'd go to war with you just based on what I've seen and just talking to you. Your mentality is that of a warrior. So to see that, everybody would think you would have said just the opposite. Like, you were the guy. Everybody wanted you in charge. You were the guy. Fuck it, let him go. Who cares if he writes his tape? It's crazy to me that you're producing that type of numbers, that type of publicity for them, and you're putting fucking criminals, bad fucking people away, and they still had a fucking problem with it.
So so for GSP, your performance objectives for the beginning of the year is seatbelt, cell phones, DUIs, crash investigation, and speed enforcement. That's it. That's what you get on your because I was a supervisor for a long time. Like, that's your performance goals. That's what you have. You get no credit. There's no category for arrests. There's no category for chases. There's no category for murder suspects. There's no category for dope arrests. There's none of that stuff like that. But I mean, there's a back end of it, but that's not what. So you could lock up 50 murderers in a year, and they're like, hey man, like, cool, that's what's up. But if you wrote 1,000 speeding tickets, they'll give you an award and bring you to Jekyll Island and give you like a banquet. But again, insane. So like I said, and I don't want to trash them. Like, the agency is what it is. There are things about the State Patrol that I think are absolute trash, hot garbage. But there are things about the State Patrol that I also believe should be the absolute gold standard. The way they do things, even to this day, with all their bullshit, there should be the absolute gold standard of the way they teach you to conduct yourself, the confidence they give you to do your job, the support. The biggest thing is, like, if you're in the right and it serves them, the GSP unapologetically will police. They don't give a shit about what you think about them, what you think about what they did, your opinion on it. They'll be like, we'll come to your house right now and do it again. We don't care. We don't care. So, but then you have that on the back end of being like, they have that being like, well, hey man, you didn't write enough cell phone tickets, So it's this huge disparity between going out and working and kind of balancing out what it was. And it just got to the end where I was like, I'm out, bro. I'm off.
I can't imagine hearing that after you're going out there. Like, yeah, I could go write 100 tickets and not have to worry about getting killed, getting shot, getting in a crash. But instead, I'm out here doing 125 miles an hour, pinning a fucking U-Haul because it's the right thing to do. And when I started, I was in trooper school. I remember when I started, the saying I heard was 5 a day keeps your post commander away. That's what I heard. And it is true. It is the thing. You can do as much as you want. You can do as much as you want, or just the minimum. You're not going to go anywhere. Like, they're not going to do anything to you. But like another thing I heard, and it came true for me. I've never seen anyone get run off for not doing enough. I've seen plenty of guys get run off for doing too much. I guess that's kind of law enforcement in general. Like, the guys, you go to any agency and you got those guys like you that behave like you and go out and do stuff. I'm not saying I'm anywhere near your level of what you did, but I was definitely somebody who put people in jail, made arrests, and ultimately made a case they didn't like, got demoted. And it's like, if I didn't do a fucking thing, guess what? I wouldn't have gotten demoted. I would have stayed right where I was. And
like I said, man, like, that was my thing. Like, I'm me, not them. Like, I wanted to, at the end, when I'm done doing this, I'm proud of what I've done. The people that care about me, that matter to me, are proud of what I've done, and that's what mattered to me. I didn't care how happy I made people or unhappy I made people that I didn't meet their quota, or whatever it was, that I policed the way I did. They're the people that I've actually done things for, who I've looked in their eyes, that know that they had nothing else left and I was there for them. That's what matters to me, and that's what I'll keep doing until I stop. I don't care. Good. All right, I'm gonna pull up the famous one. Let's get it over with. The one that made my the one that made my intro there. All right, so here, add to stage. Boom.
So is this a call for service?
No. So this was part of our thing. This is like the street takeover guys that we had. We tracked these guys around all the time. And this was just a random other day. Like, so why the shit went this as wild as it did, I don't understand. Because this was like a Tuesday. I've done way wilder shit than this. And
but the whole ending part, I think, is what got it.
I guess maybe, but this was just another day, man.
Unreal. It's fucking great. And that's your dash cam. You pull them out. There was some cell phone video, but there are guys that will never. They'll work 30 years. They will never do that. So I think what happens, why it goes so viral, is not only does the public look at it, and they look at it from one perspective, like they don't have a real opinion on. They don't know our tactics, our training. Oh, he shouldn't have crashed him. He should have. Fuck that guy. Rip him out. Beat him up. Oh, he's too rough. Public has no real guidance or real knowledge of what we're doing. From the cop side, though, there are like 95% of cops will never experience what you just did there. Never pit a car, never have anything, and have the authority to just go. I don't have to ask. I don't have to do anything. I just fucking like to imagine like you could just drive around and go, fuck, that guy's not stopped, and knock. So I think that's where it comes out viral. But so it's just a regular old street takeover. You happen to just roll up on it.
Yeah, that group, we were following that group because they always go to the same spots. And that group, they were over in part of the other city and they left because we're on them. We're tied into all of them. So we knew kind of where they were going. And I just happened to be kind of in the area. I was like, I'll teetle over there and see what's going on. And I came around the corner and then, I came around the corner, saw it, and it was on. I mean, it was, like I said, it was just another thing. It was nothing. We've done it plenty of times. I was like, I know what I'm doing here. I was finding, where's the at? I was like, that one. I was like, all right, well, you're done. And that was kind of just, it was just like a thing. Yeah. And then, it just kind of went nuts. Did any of
those people get hurt? Did he hit?
Yeah. So broke. Yeah. So he hit like 5 people. One guy broke his leg. One guy broke his leg, and all the other guys, all the people he hit ended up leaving. But one
easy
of the
for the report, huh?
Yeah. Well, we came. They were all gone, and then it was funny though because we went up and we were talking to the one guy was kind of laying there. We're like, hey man, we're just going to give you a warning for spectating. We'll call it good.
What did took the driver for what? Like reckless driving and all kinds of stuff?
Serious danger by motor vehicle, like felony fleeing and a couple other whatever things. Yeah.
Good. Let me see what else we got here. So that incident, there's a lot of people think, and I did too, like that incident had some massive bearing on that wasn't nothing crazy for you as far as your career path or anything.
That was another thing. That was nothing. I was like, I've done way wilder shit than that.
Did you get in trouble?
Not at all. Not even kind of a little bit. Nothing.
Just another day at the office.
Yeah, another day at all. They don't care. That's just what we did. They didn't care at all.
All right, let me get this one rolling up here a little bit. This is one of my favorite ones. Let me see how long it takes for you to knock this guy in the dirt. I actually use this one on a meme too. All right, we'll go right about here. All right, let's go here. Share screen. This is one of my favorites. Boom, share. The old U-Haul, man.
Oh, the box truck.
Box truck. How many people get to pit a box truck? I sped it up a little bit, so. 75. Normal day, huh? This is it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This was we were at a briefing, like one of our suppression briefings, and a guy had one of the troopers that I know. They were tracking this. He stole this from like a couple counties away, and he called. And, hey man, they're tracking it. And then we just left the briefing, went out, and then got behind him. And even I was like, I never pitted him.
You didn't know if it was going to go, right?
I didn't know. I was like, I'm going to try. I was like, you can hear him. Like when I tell my buddy, I was like, I'm just going to try it because whatever. I'll do something to it. We'll see how it goes. But it did not. I did not, because it's loaded too. It's full of lawnmowers.
All stolen shit.
Yeah, and that's all stolen. Yeah. And like when I did it, like I dented my fender and that was it. Like I was super surprised when I was like, I'll be damned when it went around. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Got the plane flying up in the background. Like this is it, dude. This is like this is Grand Theft Auto, man. Like the plane, the fucking box truck. And the commentary is great. You guys are always like real loose on the radio. It's hilarious.
Yeah, as I said, because we did it so much, it wasn't even stressful. Like, if you had like a pulse ox speeder on like when we were chasing, we probably wouldn't.
There you go. Nice and easy. And did you guys have like a special channel? Like were you guys on like a your own
no,
just regular like
the main channel?
They just cleared the network or channel and said, all right, you guys are in a pursuit.
Yeah, I mean usually when you kick off a chase, I mean everyone kind of knows to shut up, but they yeah.
You get is it like the new guy orientation? Like you don't fucking talk, don't talk too much. The new guys, because you had some guys. There's a couple of those videos where you're like training guys. Like I can hear you. There's a couple pits where you're like pit them. Like in the like you're training people. Is it you or is there some GSP videos?
If there was a couple like audio in my car with somebody else, I had a ride along. Usually it was an APD officer. Okay. But I was never an FTO or anything.
Okay, there's some out there where I remember a few GSP pit videos. You can't really tell the voice, but you can hear the FTO like pit them, dude. There's one.
Oh definitely, you will. Yeah, because
there's an SUV that rolls over.
Yeah, it's a like you have to really get in their head. Like I remember because I taught a lot of trooper schools and like especially when I would teach pit, you have to like there's times I would like reach over and just they slam the steering wheel because like, you're creating an traffic accident. I'm like, do it. They're like, I'm trying. I just reach over and just get the accident out of the way. I'm like, all right, now you know what it's like. Let's do it. Yeah.
What is your initial pit school? How long is that for your like troopers?
So trooper school is 33 weeks, and then you do pit in advanced driving. So it's tied into your 2 weeks of driving. Like
a couple days of it, or
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then how often are you recertifying or training it?
So you do. So it depends on what you've done. You don't have to get recertified. You can you do familiarization depending how time because they need to get the track and things like that. But a lot of guys use it enough, use it a lot or enough that you kind of do it. And some guys just never pit a car ever, so they don't ever really give a shit about doing it.
But there's no mandatory recertification.
No.
Okay. No. But obviously the guys that are doing it often, they're like, yeah, if you guys saw a problem with somebody, you'd be like, hey man, you're not doing this right, or try doing that different. Yeah. So kind of on the job. So after that incident, you the big one, you said you left GSP, and where did you end up going?
It's the Sandy Springs Police Department, which is an agency just north of Atlanta.
So you're still catching the blowover of Atlanta and people coming through?
Yeah, I mean so for me, like it's ideal because we have like the pace of what we have just enough real cop shit to keep your to really keep your skills prepped up. When you got good stuff, you can do investigations, good cases, and you can really still lock up bad people. And then we have nonsense because of where we're in is like an ultra affluent area tied into the back end of Atlanta. So I mean, like in the area that I work, I have like middle class or low middle class, working class, and then I have ultra affluent. Like I have the area that I work in. I have the most expensive house in Georgia, which is $46 million. So I mean, I have everything going from one to the other, and then we have a major part of the interstate that goes, so you get transient crime, and you can really get out there and you can still hunt and let it bang, and then in between your barking dog calls and things like that.
So that's a little different. What year was that you transferred? Or you
2024. Yeah, so I've been there a little over a year and a couple months. Yeah.
Okay. And you obviously, I'm sure with your resume, you pretty much handpicked like this is where I want to go based on administration.
Yeah, so I worked in Atlanta forever, and I had known that GSP wasn't my forever agency. I'd known that for a long time. So it was funny. So when originally, like a couple of years prior to me leaving, again, a bunch of us were kind of all over it. So there's a group of us that were going to leave together, and we were going to go to Sandy Springs together, which is originally what we were going to do. So I left, and then a couple months later, one of my other buddies, he left GSP and came over with me. And then there was, so we came there together, and but that was when I knew I was leaving. I didn't apply to anywhere else. I didn't check with anybody else. I knew that was where I was going to go because of like the culture of the department, the command staff, the chief's a stud. I just knew that my gut told me that's just what was going to be the best fit, and it was, man. It turned out great.
So you mentioned the chief, and you sent me a picture of the chief.
Yeah,
I'm gonna add in here. So this is your What's his name?
Chief Ken DeSimone is his name. Yeah.
So if I get this, if you call me one day and say, man, I'm working at this agency, and you send me that picture and you tell me that's the chief of police, I'm fucking excited.
And it was funny, man, because he trolled me. He's fun, man. He trolled me too. So he sent me that picture, and I was like, hey, man, trying to be like me. He's like, I've been staying in our car since 1989, rookie. I was like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. What
was the call? He ended up, was this a pit?
It was a chase. So he ended up, the lady drove off into the woods. He ended up chasing her, and then she ran out of skill and just yeeted herself off a wall into the woods. Yeah.
So your chief was chasing her?
Yes, he was chasing her.
That's fucking great, man. See, that is like, man, that is like it's a dream come true. And it's unfortunate that not more agencies have a chief that makes it through the ranks and becomes that guy, because I can think of a handful, just even with all the people I've contacted on this page and all the people I've spoke to, it's never like that. Like when you told me that the other day, I'm like, get the fuck out. And you sent me a picture. I'm like, bro, can you imagine? Like that should be the recruiting poster. Like chief, like this is the fucking chief.
And it was funny. So like when like I go in, everyone in the area knew me because of my thing, right? Whatever. But and I went in, I was very like, I knew I'm going into a new agency. Like you let me, I'll play whatever game you want me to play. Just let me know the rules and let me know when the rules change. And I remember when I talked to him, I asked him, I was like, what do you want me to do? He's like, I want you to do you. I was like, are you sure? Are you positive? Are you clear on what you're asking? He's like, you see this crime? I said, yes, sir. He said, I don't want to. I said, understood, sir. And then he cut me loose, and he's been nothing but great. The whole department, and I'll be honest, I thought it was gonna be way more tight ass than it is. It's been everything. They let me do whatever I want. They support me in everything that I do. They help me out. They take care of me. They like say thank you when I do stuff. They support everything that goes. And like, that's why, like before I was going because, I would do what I did because it's just what I wanted to do. But now I go hard because they make me want to work hard.
Yeah. And I think as a human being, you're going to go hard either way. That's you're obvious. Just from talking to you the first time, and everybody's going to look at this and know you're just wired different. You are wired to catch bad guys. You're going to do it either way. I imagine even as a hardcore, fuck them all, wreck them, there's still some human side of you that goes, it's nice to have somebody fucking actually appreciate what I'm doing and at least extend that, hey man, good job, or hey, we support you. Because you can do it either way and just walk through the agency, nobody talks to you, go pit your cars. But there is some comfort as a human, even if you're hard as nails, to go, hey, these fucking people are decent people. They're showing some type of, they care. And that's important, even to the most hardcore guys. It's nice to know you have some support. And
it was cool. Like, so it kind of gave you, like when GSP, like, you're like a soldier with no country. You kind of just go out here and do whatever. You don't really have any ties to your community or anything like that. But I'm like, that's part of me. Like, this is my city. Like, if you come into my part of the ocean, I'm a big shark that runs it. And if you fuck around in here, I'm gonna find you and we're gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So like that was also, it gives me, home base. You know what I'm saying? This is my area. This is my area. What I wanted to do. And it like I said, man, I can't really say. There's the list of positive shit that I have to say is endless, man. Like it brought me back to loving my job. Like I love my job. I love working here. Like I cannot wait to go to work on Monday. Like I love this shit.
I remember that feeling, and I had it for about 4 years where everything went well, and about 15 years into. So I never stopped being a cop. But I remember that feeling like, damn, my weekend's coming up. Like I got to sit at home for 3 days. I want to get back. I worked like a 4 to 2 shift, and I was like, come into work at 3:45, go home at like 2:30 in the morning. It was like great. And I remember that, like, fuck, my weekend's here. I'm not gonna be able to put no guys in jail. It's a great feeling, and that's what guys should strive to be. We'll pull up a couple more videos about that. I want to talk a little bit about your agency, though. We were talking yesterday about jujitsu, and jujitsu is like one of those taboo subjects in law enforcement because there is a jujitsu mafia that like overly shoves it down people's throat. Yeah. I completely think there's a place for it, and a guy like you. A lot of guys might look at you and go, oh, he's a hard charger. He don't care about that stuff, but you're actually into it. I know your agency's into it. Why don't you explain to us about your jiu-jitsu background and how your agency supports it?
All right. So I train at Alliance under Leo Noguera. I've been training there a couple of years. I think it is the best shit ever. Like I can't, but like that's my thing, right? I love it. And one of the myriad of million reasons why I went to my agency. So they support physical fitness to the to as much as you want to do. They support, they love jujitsu, they love training. They pay for, we have an in-house gym, but they also pay for your training if you go to a gym outside the department. And they let us train. Not only do they let us train on duty, they track us training. And if you don't train, they'll be on you. Like, we have a spreadsheet of when you train. They'll call you and they'll be like, hey, it's been like, they're like, go out of service right now. I don't care if you walk in the treadmill or whatever. Like, you go out of service, you go to the gym. I don't give a shit. Go do something and then come back and we'll handle it. And that was always, and especially with my shift, like my lieutenant, he'll be like, man, the calls can hold. He's like, go make yourself feel better. You'll be fine.
Fucking A, dude.
I train. So I go to work, and I train on duty. I drive my patrol. My gym is in our city. So I go, I change out, I go out of service, I roll, put my stuff back on and go back to work. Yeah.
So and I love that you said that, because we had a live show last night and Tyler and I kind of went back and forth and argued. And my wife is very big. She's a blue belt. She's very big on jiu-jitsu as well. And he said, when we say cops need to be better, what do you do? What you just said is that I could start it and just cut that soundbite of what you just said out about how your agency treats it and how you treat it. That is exactly the level of commitment cops should have to be better. I don't know how much you get on social media and watch. There was a shooting in Aurora. Guy gets in a wrestling match with the guy, pulls the stick out, tries to tase him, wrestles on the ground with him about a minute, and then he ends up killing the guy. Unarmed dude that charged him, he ends up shooting him. And our argument was, is it justified? Yes. But do we as cops want to be so undertrained that we have to start, America's not going to tolerate it, that we have to start shooting? I'm 5'11", 210. You're telling me it's going to be okay for me to go around shooting guys my size because I can't fight or I'm not physically fit. So my argument was, there is a way to be better. And I didn't have the greatest answer. I had some answer. What you just said is the answer. The answer is an agency that mandates, supports, encourages, and tracks physical fitness, because it's that fucking important.
So we'll go even beyond that. So like we can actually get on we have a mat room too. So if we can actually get the shift together. So if we had an arrest or whatever and it kind of went weird, we'll go to the mat room, we'll recreate the environment of what it was, and we'll run it back and we'll do it again and see what was good and what was bad, or we'll kind of go through it. And then they actually changed our policy. So we're training the whole department in vascular neck restraint now. So they're going to go and they're going to support the whole thing. The whole department's going to go through vascular neck restraint. Just adding that to our toolbox. And then
that's amazing. Yeah. You're going to have a fucking application. You're going to have about 40 applicants from this episode. Because that's another argument. That is the most effective tool in a box is the neck restraint. When done correctly, it absolutely is the safest way to stop somebody from. And there's videos that we've played. Dominic Izzo played one where a female, you can tell she's trained. She goes into it and stops because she knows her jujitsu kicked in. She knew it was the right thing to do, but she knows her policy would charge her with attempted murder or like use of deadly force. So she stops. The guy gets up. They end up tasing him. He lawn darts. They do get him in custody. But it was a female. I would have loved to seen it play out too. It was a female, small, that was getting ready to put a grown man to sleep. And then you follow Tom DeBlas?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom DeLast posted that video, I don't know if you saw the other day, of little kids holding on to their parents, accidentally choking them out just on that, and how effective that a 5-year-old kid hanging on to their 200-pound dad puts them to sleep on accident. So there's a video that is amazing.
There's a video. So GSP we did it too. They didn't they let us do it. They sent us to school and stuff for it, a couple of us, but we were allowed to do it also. Then there's a video. There's a video that I think StateBoyzzz has that. So it's me and this like getting a chase, guy crashes. I tase him. He blocks one with his hand, doesn't get a good connection. He gets out and wants to fight. So he gets out and I dump the taser. I just dump him, take his back, put him to sleep, and it was over. And he's my size. He wasn't no small ass dude, but there was no arguing. There was no screaming. There was no shooting. There was no nothing.
Is there any special report you do? Is there any a regular use of force report, or not even that?
That's just what you do. It's just
you have to be trained in it to use it.
Yes.
You have to go. You get a certification.
Yes.
Okay. So GSP uses the
LDNR. I don't know if they still. I don't know. They have. That was years. They sent us years ago to do that stuff.
When you were there, though, were you still doing it when you were there? Allowed to?
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now this agency,
I never needed to, because like it's very rare. Like a lot of people don't fight me, but everyone just runs away.
well, usually their brains are rattled from rolling over or crashing.
So that was very rare that I actually had to come across it. But I mean, if you use it and it's just, and you just get him behind, goes to sleep, wake up, he's in handcuffs. He's like, oh, I'm like, you good? He's like, I'm good. I'm like, okay, stand him up, go about your day. Yeah.
Because there are videos, I posted one yesterday of it. It's bad. It's like an old school, just ass whooping going on, and those days are over. And I can't. And Tyler calls me. We're called counterculture, and he says I'm not counterculture because I still don't get down with the old 1975, 80s ass whooping. I understand there's a place for it, but when you see guys wearing somebody out to the point that they're starting to survive. I call it survive, just like the Memphis one, the 5 black dudes beat the shit out of black guy and killed him.
Yes.
He's resisting. I'm like, no, motherfucker, he's fucking dying, and his body is trying to save himself. Yeah. And there was just one that happened the other day somewhere. It's 2 different agencies. There's 3 dudes, and they're throwing 10 knee spikes, kicks, punches, and it's being recorded by a cell phone. I don't think they know it. As soon as they see the phone, it's like, oh, they kind of. Yeah, that day's over. Those days are over.
I'm very old guard about a lot of things, but I was never, so any amount of damage you sustain from me, you earned. And as soon as you're done, I'm done. Like as soon as the handcuffs go on, dude, I'm cool. This is professional to me. This is not personal. I don't care if you run from me. I don't care. I don't care if you're not trying to hurt me. You're trying to hurt the uniform that I'm wearing. You're not trying to hurt me, right? And I want it to be over as quick as possible. As soon as you're in handcuffs, dude, we can cut up, we can chill. I'm not going to throw you an ass whooping that you didn't need. And I'm going to inflict just the amount of damage I need to put you in handcuffs, and then I'm done. Yeah. And that was never like, oh, you chased him into the woods, you should beat the shit out of him. That was never, I think you're a fucking bully if you do that. I don't abide by that crap. I think it's so stupid. I want it to be like, a prize, like a rodeo event where I'd get down and boom, time, and you're done in like 5 seconds. You're already tied up and I'm done. To me, as good as the better I am in my physical ability to offer you violence, and the faster it's over means that I'm good. Not how many teeth I can knock out of your face or how much blood you're going to drink. That's crap. That means you're not good. That means you're not good. The more damage you need to do to somebody to take them into custody means you need to fucking train more. If you can, you're not going to, you won't even know that you get dusted up by me. You're going to be wrapped up and you're going to be like, well, why am I tied in a knot? And then you're done. And then we're cool. So that's how it's going to go.
And that I agree. And I always felt like catching the bad guy was like the win. You didn't need to beat the shit out of him. But I remember I worked the hood for many years, and I never forget my very first foot pursuit in the hood. I came from a city that we didn't have the hood, and then I went to the sheriff's office. First foot pursuit, I'm probably 25, 26 years old, skinny kid. I hadn't gained my cop weight yet. Went through all that. I'll never forget it. We walked into this apartment complex. Dude's like doing the whole looking and looking. He takes off running. I take off. The only reason I caught him was I went around a corner and he didn't realize I went that way. And he jumped the fence and I caught him coming off the fence. But nobody else knew that either. So when I caught him and I got to parade him all the way down the road back to my patrol car, damn, you let that cracker catch you, damn. And I was like, to me, that was like, I won. I didn't need to beat him up. I was just like, and then it was like, all right, that dude's fast. That dude's, he knows it. And then throughout working the area, it became like my area. And then like you're saying now, and it was just like, it was small enough where everybody knew me, but I had the reputation where I knew nobody can walk in that station tomorrow and go, he beat my ass for no reason. He planted dope on me. He did something illegal. He's hard charging. He's a piece. We all hate him, but he's not a crook. And that was what I stood by.
And there was like too many times, man, like if I had, I wish I had a body camera. And that was the only thing, I wish so much that I had a body camera through my career, because all the cool shit I would have had. But like, man, there's been so many times where, like, for me, like I said, once it's over, it's over. Like, it's just like, it's your job to get away. It's my job to catch you. It's just a thing, right? I don't care nothing about it afterwards. And like, I always treated everybody with respect, no matter what it was. Mm-hmm. Everybody goes through shit. And this is nothing, like I said, this is nothing personal, right? And like, I was never going to hurt you. I was never going to do anything to you. I was never going to be mean to you, talk down to you. When it's over, it's over, man. There's a time I got in a chase over in like the hood. And I got in a chase with the dude, pit him. He ended up crashing on his own, knocked not all of his teeth out of his mouth. I ended up tasing him, whatever, because he kept going. But as soon as he was done, boom, it was done. And we were fine. And he calmed down, I calmed down. And we were cool. We were chilling like normal. And he was telling me about how like he was the process of what it was. But he also thanked me because, you know, I didn't do anything. He would say, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Just at least when it was over, it's over. Well, fast forward, and I still took him to jail, did whatever. Fast forward like 2 months later, right? So 2 months later, I get in a chase with a 4-wheeler, same area. Get in a chase with a 4-wheeler. We go on some random ass street. I'm not even thinking about the last one. Guy flips into a yard. So I'm on him, and then I'm in the middle of everybody by myself. So like the block's hot now, everybody's coming out, right? So now it's me and 30 people, and over the crowd, I hear, "Yo, leave him the fuck alone." And it was the dude from the last chase who came through the crowd, stood between me, and he's like, "He's good. Y'all leave him alone. Trooper, you're fine." And I went about my thing because like I respected everybody.
I respected everybody. And that's like some gangster shit. And that's true. That happens. I remember the same thing in the hood, and they would be like, "Nah, dog, he's cool. He's straight." You know, if he's chasing that guy, he did something wrong. And I never in 23 years, there's people that were terrified to work the hood, never worked the hood, had no respect in the hood. I had the opposite because I was fair and treated everybody fairly.
I had zero issues.
And that's good stuff, man. We like dogs. We're good. All right, I'm gonna bring up. I haven't seen this one yet. This would be one from your new agency that your agency posted on the Instagram. Let's go there and hit play. This is on the interstate.
Yeah. So this is 400, which is a main interstate that comes through. So this was a car that had ran from the agency north of us. They don't chase, but he came south, and then we chased.
So somebody else is already chasing him. This is you going to him.
No, it's just me. Yeah, no, it was just me. So we're calling. There's one of my chief partners is down south of where I'm at. So he's gonna end up picking it up when we exit. But the other agency had let it go. I just want to.
That's got to be cool, man. That's how we worked the last few years when I was there. It was like every other agency bailed, and we were the ones that like.
Yeah, that was the joke. They'd be like, shut, because all the agencies north of us. They're like, shut that all the north ramps, like force them down into Sand Springs because we know it.
This is wild, dude. Felony challenge. People aren't ready for that. Bad guys aren't ready for that. They might watch it, but not ready for that. That's awesome. Good work. All right, remove. So that's where you work now. So it doesn't look much different. That's and that agency 100% supports all that stuff, gets behind it.
And another thing. So when I came there, I was still on. I wasn't even like on the road yet. I hadn't even got sworn in yet, and they were like, "Hey, Chief again was like, hey, he's like, we want to revamp our chase policy." He's like, "Can you look at our chase policy and, you know, go up and down and what we should change?" And I was like, this feels like a fucking trap, but okay, fine. But we went through it and changed stuff. So we used to have like a cap on our pit speed, and we used to have more restrictive about what we could chase, what we couldn't chase. And then I went through a couple of things of what we could change and why we should change it, and what, you know, because I'm a kind of a subject matter expert, and what in the reality of what it looked like. And I said to him, and anything else about it, man, they changed everything. We let it bang, dude. We can chase anything for any reason. We go hard. They changed it and they support it, and it's been great. And the funny part is, like, we haven't had anything terrible happen. Like, we went on Sunday, we went from, well, maybe, and then Monday we're like, everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. And
so then it's just wide open. Every traffic violations, everything.
Yep. Anything.
Super. I mean, is there any, obviously weather conditions might throw a little bit but for me,
I've never
you don't care about that.
No, it's not even that. It's just we had one the other day, like I was in the middle of a down we had this dope guy we were going after. It's in the middle of a torrential downpour. Even for me, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of sketchy. But I mean, I ran it anyway, and they had, yeah, it was just.
How many cars are you going through, man? You got how many cars have you going?
I've been good. I've only totaled out one car so far.
What happened? And when you pit somebody, what, you just take it to they fucking repair it, they put you in a spare?
A lot of times when I do it, the damage really isn't that bad. So I mean, like, especially when I was with GSP, like we would pit, and there was no point taking car. We had an unlimited supply of cars, but like there was no point in going to the body shop for just a pit because I'm just going to do it again. So the car be down for a couple of weeks. So we would usually use them until we physically couldn't drive them anymore. So we would have, so not even me, like my buddy, he's since retired, but he had 50, I want to say it was like 55 pits on the same bumper. And he had, I've had like 20, like mid 20s, probably like 25 on the same bumper before I had to take the car to the body shop. But he was in like the 50s with like with like on the same car.
And not a word. They just
no, that's just.
Was there like a procedure to like? Did you just self-diagnose your own car after a pit, or did you have to go get it looked at?
Did you what?
Did you like self-diagnose your own vehicle? Like you got done, drove down the road a little bit?
Well, it depends. You could also do self-surgery. Like if I had my push bumper was wrapped there, and I'd have when the tow truck came, I would just have them hook the cable to my push bumper and pull it back out of my wheel well so the car is functional again.
So that's kind of like the old Wild West kind of unfortunate, because if we did it, even as open as our agency was, if you pit, you have to go deadline your car. They have to do a full scan of it.
You would go and we was on a first name. We use the same body shop guy, so I was on a first name basis with him.
Pull in and
so
be like, hey man,
go and just check it, and we would have all of our he would look at it and be like, yeah man, no problem. Just kind of go through it. Like I said, we did so many of them. It was kind of just became a necessity. Yeah.
This is the Instagram page for the agency, Sandy Springs Police. You said north of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So if you guys are in Georgia and you're looking to do real police work, the chief is squared away. They obviously got some squared away employees, and they're knocking cars left and right. Before we go, I wanted to talk about you. I don't have the video up, but you said you were in one shooting.
I was in
two. So you want to talk about those, kind of how they were investigated, how you went through them, what the scenarios were?
All right. So, well, kind of 1.5. So I guess shootings for me, I like count when it's against a human. One, I got in a shooting. We had a guy, he had a murder warrant. And I shot his tires out and disabled his car with.
They were okay with that?
Yeah. Well, actually, no, they didn't. So so I got a policy adjusted and kept my job. So I guess that's kind of another highlight too, right? So if you can change policy and keep your job,
yeah, that's like you get an award for that.
Yeah. But again, they supported me. They were fine. They were fine with that. And then they kind of changed the language of the policy because I was kind of good, kind of not, whatever, fine. But again, it was the right guy to do it to. You know what I mean? It was the right.
What'd you shoot it out with? A handgun or a shotgun?
Yeah,
or handgun. How fast was he going?
He's probably going to like 30 through which is funny because he was going through 30 through like a field. And it was funny because they're like, dude, just shoot him through the windshield. It would have been a whole lot easier. I'm like, I didn't want to kill him. Like, I didn't need to kill him. I just, I didn't need to. Okay,
so they're okay with you shooting him, but they didn't like you shooting the tires.
They said, I remember I talked to the major and he was like, listen, man, if you would just blown this dude's head off, it'd have been way easier. I'm like, I got it. No problem.
Doesn't seem way easier, but okay.
I mean, yeah, sure. So 2022, I want to say 2022, we got a call. Guy was, suicide by cop, homicidal, suicidal, was going down into the city to look for, he was trying to find his ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, whatever it was like that. And so he went down, actually onto the campus of Georgia Tech. And so everyone knew where he was. So Georgia Tech tried to contact him. He ran. Well, he didn't run. He fled from them and drove around the corner and came right back to the same spot he was in, which is kind of a clue. You might want to. That might be something different. So we go down. There's a couple of us. So we were there just in case he got mobile because that's what we do. And they were setting up. They were going to figure out like a vehicle assault. They were figuring out what they were going to do. So we're sitting right down the road. And it's me and two other guys are sitting right down the road, and then radio breaks, so the car's moving. I was like, well, that's all I know what we're doing now. And so we pull out. I'm first. We come up the road. I meet him head on. He comes around the corner, meet him head on. And I go nose to nose with him. And I remember I got out of my car, started yelling at him. I remember looking in his eyes, and I was like, shit. I just hit he just had that 1,000 miles like committed to whatever he was doing stare. And I was like, oh crap. Yeah. And he puts it in reverse, starts backing up. My buddy goes around me, hits him head on, jams him into the curb. Third guy goes around, blocks him from the back. I go door to door with him. He gets out, I get out. We start giving the commands, get down. And he does the weirdest part, he didn't say a word the whole time. Even after I shot him, he didn't say a word. So yeah, so he gets out, kind of looks around, like throws his hands up, like he's like, hey man, whatever. Goes back inside, pulls out H&K, comes out. I was like, shit. He racks it, and as soon as he let the slide go, I drop him. I shot him, and then one of my buddies from APD, he was over my shoulder with an AR, just letting it bang over my shoulder. Didn't even hear it. So we drop him. I go over to him, grab him, pull him away, and like he just stared at me as he died. He didn't say a word, didn't say ow, didn't say nothing, didn't have any nothing. So I just stared at him as he died. Yeah, that was
how many times you hit him?
It was I got him 5. I got 5.
I
was so close. I mean, I was so close. I mean, I hit him in all his vital organs in alphabetical order, so there was nothing that it was going to happen. It was yeah, man. So that was that.
Any PTSD? Any problems with that for you?
No. So of all the shit I've done, to be honest with you, that wasn't really a thing. Like I had known at some point, probably just because of the level I was at, that it was going to be a thing. I guess I was kind of prepared for it. I don't like it. I mean, I can see him right now. Like I can see his face right now. But like the thing that for me, like the problems for me is always like that hurts me the most, like the kid stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably like the kid stuff, or like just women who get their husbands beat the shit out of them, stuff like that. That's the stuff that really bothers me.
Yeah, and the ones that they won't get help. You try to get them help. You know they're going to go back in the house.
That's the stuff that hurts me.
Do you think? Now we talk about this a lot with the counterculture stuff. Is like, so you were involved in killing somebody, but do you think that, can you understand where guys have a harder time with mental health when it comes to getting double crossed by an agency or getting screwed with by the agency? Yeah.
So the biggest struggle for me of all the shit I've done, and I've seen horrible things and experienced terrible things. The biggest problem that has hurt the most is trying to defend myself from the people that I work with. And the agency coming after you, that has been more. I have more trauma and more leftover hurt from being treated like shit by the people that I've worked so hard for. And like there's guys, and like this is not just me. Like I would see, like as a supervisor, like I'm watching my guys get treated like shit, and there's nothing, and then I'm getting flack because I'm trying to help them out, and they're just treating us all like trash. And we're going here, we're literally like, there's guys that have almost died or have died, going just everything you want, and they don't care, right? And they just and then on the back end of it, so you like the feeling of lack of support was probably the hardest hurt that I carry with me of going through this. I mean, there's horrible, terrible things that I've seen, and I have this just gigantic pile of trauma. But a huge pile of that trauma is trying to do my very, very best and doing my very, very best, and having the people that I work with treat me like shit.
I'm glad. I'm not glad. I'm happy to hear that from somebody, because if I say it, I'm now retired. I say, oh, this guy's retired. Is that anybody who says it? Oh, he's a crybaby. But here you got a guy like you, still works, and has everything you just said about, for an hour about how hard charger you are, to still experience the same problem that I am seeing throughout the United States, which is most guys, and I'm going to go out on a limb, I think a lot of the police suicides are not because they saw a dead baby, not because they shot somebody. There are situations where guys have a hard time with things. Yeah. I think the hardest thing for guys is to have the mentality like you have, to go out and do your hardest, and then the building turns on you, and you're not prepared for that level of letdown or that level of stress and trauma that comes from having been turned on by something you have dedicated every breath, every day, missed things for you. We say, oh, we miss things for our kids. A lot of times you miss shit because we like to go to work and like to do our job. And unfortunately that gets in the way of a family. But when you're building and your thin blue line family, or your, the great family of law enforcement turns on you, it is terrible. And I'm glad, I'm not glad to hear it, but I'm glad to know that somebody like you has experienced that same thing, even as cool as it looks. A guy on the outside would look at you and go, dude's got no problems. He's like Batman. He's fucking crazy. He's a NASCAR driver that wrecks cars, but you're still at the core, you're still a human being.
Yeah. and it was the like I said, there was the hardest part about it, because like even all that, like I'm very proud of what I do. I'm very proud of my profession. I'm very proud of the quality of product that I can give, and I am all in. I'll give you whatever I want. Just don't treat me like shit. And like a lot of times when it was the easiest, simplest things to, to alleviate, and they wouldn't do it. Like having seen both sides of the behind the curtain of supervision and the command level of what like the decisions that actually could be made. And like this is what we need, right? Like I remember there was one part where we had this huge blowout because like my guys were just getting just rocked, man. And they brought forth, they wanted to adjust the shift 1 hour on one day. That's all they wanted. All these, for fuck's sake, just give us an hour. And they're like, nope, you're going to do what we tell you to do. It's like, come on, man. And in the scheme of life, that hour didn't mean anything in the scheme of what it is that we did, but it meant everything to them. And like I said, I was getting it from everywhere. And like, a lot of these guys that I worked with, I had trained some of these dudes, like they came through trooper school, right? So I was there when they started. I was there up until when we worked together, and I was there to take care of them. And like I had and one of the things about state patrol is like you don't really have, like you're kind of by yourself all the time, which is a lot of things. Like another reason I like where I work now is you don't have anybody. You know what I'm saying? You're out there on your own. You eat dinner, you eat lunch, dinner, whatever it is, by yourself. You don't have that tribe of your guys to talk to, right? Well, when I was on crime suppression, like I was with these guys all the time. Like I'm the godfather to one of my dude's kids. Like I know everything about everybody, and I've been friends with these guys forever. And we've done some of the craziest shits. We're all bonded, and then for me to do absolutely everything I can to take care of them and to run up against the wall where I can't take care of them. It's not that that hurt me more than like the agency doing something to me. Is I wanted, because I know they love it, and I know that their heart and soul is in this to represent their agency as best they could, and they're just getting their asses kicked, and they won't be helped. And it's like, come on, man. And that was it. That was, and so I carry that trauma with me more so probably than some of the horrible shit I've seen.
Yeah, and and I don't go into all the stuff that happened to me, but that is it. Like I can think of 23 years of shitty calls, and to see.
Yeah.
Did you notice it? Like you became a supervisor. Did you notice the bullshit more? I'm sure you did. Like as you became a little up, you had to deal with the higher ups, and you started seeing some of the decision making was going on. And you're like, what? Like,
yeah.
Why are we doing something?
To be honest, like I was definitely a product of my own downfall, because I had always said when I started, I looked back on the fantastic supervisors that I had, the guys that I loved and like just made my day that much better. They would make a shitty situation tolerable. And I looked at guys who were just trash. They would make the best day the worst because they just sucked. And I was like, I am not going to be them. I don't care if I rip this patch of fabric off my sleeve. I'm going all in to take care of people. I don't care. So yes. I was a lot to deal. Like I was a lot to deal with for upper level management coming down to me, which again did not bode me any favors, because of if right is right, wrong is wrong, and I would go in and I would go hard, borderline insubordinate sometimes, and you can do that for a long time, but eventually, if they don't like you, they're going to get rid of you, and they don't respect. They're not going to respect you for doing that. A lot of times, if you have the wrong one, he's going to just their ego is going to get up, and even if they're wrong, a lot of times they are flat out wrong, and they're not going to admit it, but they'll just run you off because they can
ruin your life. I mean, and to the point where I'm a firm. I think LA Sheriff's Office is up to like 14 suicides in the last couple of years. Yeah. You can't tell me that's because they saw dead bodies. You can't tell me
it's not because you have this mindset where because no one knows this job better than us, and you naturally feel like you're going to have someone to talk to, and if you have no one to talk, you can't talk to your family about it. Yeah, you can't. Like for me, I have the best support structure ever. My wife is the absolute best person in the whole world. She helps me get through a lot of shit. My dad is my best friend. I have the ultimate family support structure who take care of me and help me get through this shit, but they still don't understand what it actually is. And if you have no one to talk to about it, I mean, fucking no one to talk to about it, your brain goes to a very, very, very dark place.
Yeah.
And it's
And
terrible, man.
then the real dark part of that is when you're talking to your family, which is your law enforcement family, about it, and then you find out they don't give a fuck and they just double cross you. You're not prepared for that. You're not prepared to have the guys you think are a family and that are out to help you just turn on you. And when that happens, that's worse than any call for service. That's worse than any domestic. That's worse than any car crash.
And like for the most part, like there's not the overwhelming majority of my career. I've had fantastic supervisors who have took care of me, and it's been mostly positive, overwhelmingly positive. I've had some idiots every here and there, but there was always somebody to check them. That's how it goes, right? And then command staff changes, and there's some morons who get promoted, but they kind of go away, and it's whatever. So the huge portion of my career has been positive. I really haven't had any issues, which is why when it does get hit, when you do take a hit, from admin, it hurts much more, because if it hasn't been ever a thing, and all of a sudden now it's a thing, you're like, come on, man, what makes more sense? What makes more sense, the fact that you're wrong, or that all of a sudden now it's a problem? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, and there's a thing, my wife says this about credit, and I don't mean, when I say this, it's not you're allowed to get away with illegal shit, but as a hard-charging guy like you, I believe you build credit. Your credibility for doing wild shit builds with the amount of calls and the amount of high-stress situations. And when you make one mistake, and I'm not talking about stealing money or some unethical bullshit, I'm talking about you push something a little too far, or there's an arrest where like, it's not the greatest, but it's still there. You kind of build up credit and go, all right, the dude's done fucking 600 pursuits, and then this one is a little sketchy, but I know when we talk to him, it'll be okay. When they decide to take that one and blow you out of the water, and that's what I see a lot of around the United States, is like almost like they're waiting. I'll just wait. He'll make a slight mistake. And that goes back to what we talked at the very beginning. The guy who sits in a parking lot and does absolutely fucking nothing his whole career, he'll never experience that opportunity to even make that mistake. But a guy like you that goes and puts himself in harm's way 700 times throughout a 10-year career, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do dumb shit that's not intentional or not unethical, but you're going to make mistakes. And I kind of believe there is a credit system of like, all right, it was bound to happen, but we're not going to go, let's fire him or let's suspend him because he pushed his pursuit a little extra. Or so that's what I think is unfortunate, is that guys like you that bust their hump, there's guys all over that do that. There's some agencies that just, we'll get him. He'll make a mistake one of these days and then we'll fry him.
Yeah,
and
it's unfortunate, but that's kind of how it came down to. I mean, again, me, like, I'll be honest, like I said, there was, and I knew, like, just because of how hard I pushed back against the department because of some of the dumb things, I knew it was going to come to an end, and I didn't respect the department anymore. So it's not that I didn't care, but it was like, I'll survive this. I'll survive this. It's fine. I know what you're going to do, and I'll survive it. But then I also like a lot of guys like us, I've missed out on so many things because I was mission first always. I was mission first always. Yeah. And I missed out on a lot of things because I didn't take care of me. And I'm not saying now like I've made it work for me now, getting away from my work to getting away from State Patrol to where I work now. Like, it's the absolute perfect fit of doing real cop shit plus having a life and hanging out with my wife and, going and enjoying my job. And like, it's just like really big things, man. Like, I fucking love this shit, man. Mm-hmm. And like, it just makes me like, especially for me, like, so I started in 2008, and to really get revived to being able to do it now. Like, I thought, again, I was like, there was how can it be better than where I'm at? And it was scary to leave because I'd been there for so long. But my gut had always said that you got to go, like, for me. And it was the best thing ever. And like I said, man, it has fixed damn near everything that was wrong. And it is possible. It is possible to lump into this shit.
That's a great way to wrap up this episode, is because one of the biggest questions I get asked is about changing agencies and moving on.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of you do not need to suffer at an agency and go through mental health crisis because you think you're trapped.
No.
In today's world, everybody's hiring. So it takes a little work, it takes a little foresight, it takes a little financial stability, but do not allow yourself to be taken advantage of and railroaded as an agency. You can go find somewhere else to work and be happy.
Yes.
And it sounds like, again, I think on the surface, nobody would have expected that, you see the GSP videos, nobody knows the inner work. Just like a baseball team or a sports team, everybody sees a team win and they're like, oh, they must all be great. Well, no, there's always problems within the house.
Anywhere. There's
but
no
for you to
place.
be able to go somewhere else and have the vision that like, wow, like I was doing all that, but there is actually a better place. So anybody struggling at their job or thinks they're being taken advantage of, or they're having mental health issues at a job, it's scary. I left an agency and went to another one. But there's always another agency, and I
always say the same thing. So people still hit me up, like asking me about, because like there's a draw to like the State Patrol. I would never tell anyone to not work there. I would never tell anyone to not work there. There are positives to it. There's negatives to it. Like I would never say don't go. But like I was saying, like you have to get to a point where you have to understand that it only comes with age and experience, right? You have to understand how much. You have to understand your value. You have to understand your worth. And the State Patrol didn't deserve to have me anymore. Because I'm all in, man. I'm all in. I'll go. I'll die. I'll die for it. I will. And if you don't care, trust me, I don't care. And I'll just go. I'll go whatever. And it's like if you and like people ask me, especially about where I work now, because I sing praises to Sandy Springs Police Department and the city of Sandy Springs forever, because it just did so much for me. But like, if you're truly, and there's a difference between complaining about the things that are just the annoyances and being truly unhappy. Like if you're physically having issues, when you cross the line of being just beat down mentally, like just go, man. You gotta go. And maybe you gotta get out of law enforcement, but you gotta go because this job will kill you, and you gotta go. Yep.
Great message, man. Jordan, I appreciate it, dude. This is like I said, this is one that was important to me. I'm glad I learned. I'm glad we didn't talk too much. I always like to learn while I'm doing these episodes. It's organic, and to learn the passion you have, to learn that you have that passion. You're not just an all show guy. You do train. You take this job very serious on and off duty. That is important message to get out to these young cops. If you're gonna, and I know you don't want me to say this, but if you're gonna emulate a guy, this is the type of cop you are. You are the type of guy. Not just the crashes and not just the cool stuff, but the mindset that Jordan has, that this job is serious and training is serious, is the exact person you should look up to. Dump the fucking TikTok cops, dump the fucking showboat agencies dancing around, go to an agency like where Jordan works and have that same mindset that he has about this job and take it serious. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Nope, thanks. All right, I'll just end the recording. We're good. I gotta edit off.
I'm the only white face in this area. You don't belong here. Stop, I'll shoot you in the back.